T minus 80 seconds. T minus 70 seconds. T minus 60 seconds. T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. 15 seconds.
Hello, and welcome to the Sunday Roast, brought to you by thelastmovieoutpost.com. Your movie news, reviews, and everything cool about film. Again, it's just myself and Drunken Yoda this evening. How are you doing, mate?
Happy Easter, sir.
Yes. It's that time of year when we remember how Jesus defeated the Easter Bunny and split him open and feasted on the chocolate eggs inside.
He went into the tomb. He died for our sins, you know. They put him in the tomb. They rolled this thing across the tomb, and when they rolled it back, if you saw his shadow, it was 6 more weeks of winter. So
it's 6,000 more years of torture and humiliation for the public, right? For the human race.
such a useless freaking. He died for his sins. Could he die on a Monday so I get a 3-day weekend?
We get a 4-day weekend over here. We have Good Friday and Easter Monday, so yeah, we have a 4-day weekend.
Few of us get a Good Friday off. I am one of the lucky ones, but most people do not. Even the schools of the government was running on Good Friday. I was like, what the hell? that's bizarre. I can't remember a single holiday I ever got that the government wasn't already off, but there you go.
But yes, welcome to the Sunday Roast. Unfortunately, Sean can't be with us. He is still hiding from the FBI. And Matt has got family over for Easter. We did suggest to him that if he lived in a sitcom, then what he would try and do is do the live stream and, juggle his family at the same time in an increasingly hilarious group of experiences. But he wouldn't have it.
I don't think he'd know how to do it.
I was going to say, I can just see him sitting around dinner and sort of just sitting down and going, and another thing about Kathleen Kennedy. Oh, wait, hang on.
It'd be like the Mrs. Doubtfire thing where he's, sits down with the dress and everything. Oops.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Yes, we don't mention Matt in the dress. Anyway, so, first of all, we've got quite a few trailers to talk about because last week, Sunday and Monday, annoyingly, is when they came out, just after our live stream. It's very inconsiderate of them. In no particular order. Spell that right. Secret. That is right, isn't it? Is there an extra C in there?
No, you're fine. It's secrete invasion. So we don't know what it's invading, but it's definitely secreting.
At first, I thought this was a movie, but it's I think it's only a 6 or an 8-part series.
Yeah,
that's coming out, but it looks all right.
Well,
I think it looks all right.
So did the Quantum Mania trailer, right?
Yeah, there is that. Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of like I'm I'm just really to the point. I think the MCU has it's gone too far. It's one of those old decrepit singers that used to be big, but now they got some shitty off main strip of Vegas at 3 a.m. That's all they got left, And it's
Buy one
it's
lobster,
just-
get one for free.
Yeah, it's just sad now. You guys gotta just move on. And they don't got anything
I
else.
think-
That's the problem. Disney's got nothing else. They are. Well, we'll talk about Star Wars.
We're
but
going to get there. We're going to get there. But
Yeah.
with this, the problem I find as well is that as I looked at the trailer, I haven't checked the details, but I mean, Captain Marvel took place in 1980, and that's when the Kree first landed. And then this is after that.
no, it took
And then-
it took place in '96.
Well, what I'm saying is it took place a long time ago, so this is now a prequel. And
1980,
it's just-
1700, somewhere around in there. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah. And it must have been because I didn't see Captain Marvel's ankles at one point. So, it must have been 1700s. But with it, this whole thing is as a prequel. It's then just kind of, right, if this is a prequel, then we know what the outcome is going to be. And again, it's just kind of, again, they keep adding to it. And as they add more, it slowly sort of branches off. And then when you look at it, I mean, okay, not everything makes sense. When you look at like Back to the Future, there's quite holes you can pick in the plot with that. But with this, it's getting to the point where it's kind of, hang on a minute, in that film though, didn't he do that? And then they doing this in this one. And again, it's just, oh goodness, it's just going all over the shop.
Yeah, I don't know if it's so convoluted, and this is a problem with this is something the comic book industry has been wrestling with for decades, nearly a century now. Continuity and canon. And completely, that's why DC reboots itself every 10 years now. It's like, that's all they can do.
Yeah.
Because it gets so messed up. And then, of course, they don't do it right. So they say, well, this stuff from this era was still canon, but now this stuff isn't. But then Zero Hour
Canon,
is.
canon, not,
Not
canon,
canon, yeah.
not, canon, not.
Yeah. How'd you decide that? Well, I got the canon. So,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay, odd number is canon, even number it isn't.
yeah. Come on, canon. Come on. Oh, crapped out boxcars, damn it. So yeah, I don't know. Phil's
It's not a new
haircut.
haircut. It's just longer. That's all it is.
I'm the one who actually got a haircut this week.
Yeah, but
Matt,
it's-
aren't you supposed to be like with your family or something?
That's not Matt, is it? Is it?
Well, it says Matt.
Oh, right. So yes, it's just Matt. Right, brilliant. Oh, we figured that out. Yeah. So anyway, back to Sacred Invasion again. Like I say, I don't know. I might give it a go. It looks mildly interesting, but like you say, I know we've been fooled before.
Yeah, I mean, it's the problem I have with this stuff is it's like they take these storylines that are actually very good. The Secret Invasion storyline is pretty darn good, and they're just wearing it like a skin suit, in my opinion. So I mean, it's not going to be what we thought it was going to be. So it's going to be watered down or different or changed somehow. I mean, we could, yeah. Do you have the Ahsoka trailer on here? Because that's a big part of that too. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. We got so much here, guys. We got to speed run this bitch.
There is quite a lot of stuff to talk about. So that was Secret Invasion. Extraction 2. Now this was one of those first. Well, the first one was quite a kind of came out of nowhere, and turned out to be a pretty decent action flick.
Yes. The first thing I thought was like, wait, didn't he die? They were pretty clear that he died at the end.
No, it only looks like he died. That's
The entire trailer was the entire first half of the trailer was just kidding.
Yeah.
Well, he did this, so we put these, and then the nanobots, and then they pentagrams and sorcerer, and he's back from the dead. Yay! Well, I don't know what the bullshit reason was, but it was like that was the entire first half of the trailer was. No, he's not really dead. And look, we're going to explain it. We swear. Okay.
Honestly, somewhere along the line, we're going to say something that will just click.
That was a trailer that basically said, "Oh shit, it was a hit." Oh crap!
Yeah, that's right. Hang on a minute.
Right.
Well, I can imagine they did the trailer, and then when they've released the first trailer without anybody knowing, all the comments were, "Didn't he die? I thought he died. I'm sure that guy died." Oh, yeah, no, we need to address that. Yeah.
Exactly.
But the trailer looks pretty decent, and I'll tell you for what I thought about it was, we just quickly spoke about John Wick beforehand. The action actually looks pretty good because it's all kind of back from the action, and you're actually seeing it all in one go without many cuts and stuff. And I did think, yeah, that looks pretty decent, looks pretty solid. Like I say, the first one was like that. There was some really good action sequences in there.
Well, there was, but it also had the, you really can't go wrong with the time-tested trope of the really tough action, jaded, world-weary star having to rescue a kid. And
Yes.
you mentioned last week that they're redoing Man on Fire, so I went ahead and watched Man on Fire. I didn't mention that, but I did watch it this weekend, and I was drawn along with it. And it's like when he reconnects with the girl, especially being a parent, he reconnects with the girl and rescues her finally at the end, and he's teaching her how to swim early on in the movie. It's like, oh yeah, okay. And then when she gets, because it's John Wick did that. Just they did it with a puppy. So they amped up the fucking kill them all moments when you got to grab the audience and get them with you. But that trope just works, and that's what Extraction was. It was great.
I was going to say it depends on the level of cuteness to how many people die. Because Dakota Fanning, she's fairly cute, so only a few people died. Puppy was dead cute. Lots of people have got to die.
Genocide. or nuking New York.
Yeah, that's right. It wasn't just a cute little lamb. It had a little bow. So world domination in that case for the murders on that.
He's just on top of a pile of skulls at the end. The earth is a burned out cinder. Well, I guess he got his revenge.
With a human head in one hand and the bow in the other.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Extraction 2, like I say, it's one of those things, because it's coming straight out to Netflix, I don't want to say I'm dubious about going to the cinema. I'm not bothered with going to the cinema with anything of late. So Extraction, when it comes out, I'm quite happy to just sit down, bucket of popcorn, my own drinks, costing me a hell of a lot less, and just sit down and just give it a try for a couple of hours.
Do you think the trailer... I don't know. I'm thinking that the trailer has really got to grab me to make me, trailers need to be what they should be, which is something that really gets you compelled to go see it. And so many trailers are so crap these days. Like, I'll admit the Flash trailer is compelling, but it has a crutch. It's bringing back Michael Keaton. Blue Beetle trailer, all these other trailers. I mean, nothing. I'm looking at it going, I don't care. Then I don't get my money.
I must admit, I try and stay away from trailers as much as I possibly can. The only reason I'm watching is if we're talking about them, because I want to go into a film completely, I have no idea what's going to go on, no idea, and that to me is just the magic of storytelling, where you can't guess what's going to happen, you haven't read anything, there are no spoilers, and so usually with trailers, like I say, I don't know, sometimes they do pique my interest, but like you say, like with Quantumania, they can quite happily lie to you.
Well, that is the truth, and it's kind of like, okay, like 65 was almost compelling enough for me to go see it, but I didn't end up going to see it because I know it's going to be out in 3 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever.
It's already out now.
There you go, and it's like, then I see your review and I see a couple other reviews. It's like, oh, they didn't stick the landing. It's like, well, I'm glad I didn't spend money on that. I hear what you're saying on the trailers, because so many of the I remember even way back with the original Avatar, the trailer was pretty much a Cliff Notes version of the movie. It was the entire freaking. You knew exactly what you were getting into.
Yeah.
And too many trailers did that. They give away too much stuff in the trailer. The Ragnarok trailer. Don't put Hulk in the trailer. That would have been such an awesome reveal in the movie.
Yes. Yeah.
But they put him in the trailer. Did it hook me and want me to come in? Yes, it did. But I also can't kind of forgive them for giving away such a spoiler. So you got to walk that line.
Yeah, such a great moment. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to walk that line. You got to make it compelling. You got to want to get. It's got to be something that's going to grab me and want to get me into the seat. But if you give away too much, then I'm like, okay, well, I've seen the movie. I know popcorn stuffers are going to go see it anyway. Avatar 2 proved that to me. But yeah, I don't know. Extraction 2, I looked at the trailer. I was like, because I know it's coming on Netflix, so I will probably watch it. And I enjoyed the first one. I just, the trailer looked, I mean, I can't remember a thing about it. It wasn't like any compelling other than, oh, it's the new thing I know.
Yeah. Because again, we're living in the world where they've got to do the sequels. And they've got to do the next one. And it's got to be a franchise now. I said on Twitter the other day that it's kind of the whole superhero genre, talking about Shazam, the whole superhero genre is now like an episode of a sitcom where you've got your start, something happens, and then everything returns back to normal, ready for the next episode. And that's what's happening with these movies now. You know, the TV series has now become like a franchise, so that it's a 2-hour long film that hopefully everybody will go and see. Scream is exactly the same. You know, that everything will just be reset at the end of it, and so you can just carry on with the next one. And if you do need to kill off characters, just bring in new ones that will carry it on. You know, replacement.
A few too many sequels sounds actually kind of quaint nowadays. It's like, no, we have the sequels, and then we have the spin-off movies, and then we create the whole cinematic universe, and then we have the streaming episodes that come along with it. It's like, hey, just make too many sequels. That'd be wonderful if that's all you did.
Well, actually, I'll tell you what, let's talk about sequels. Let's put them in this order. Spider-Verse 2. Couldn't be bothered to type out the whole thing. Spider-Man and Into the Spider-Verse Part 2. It's not called Part 2, is it? It's called something else. But basically, Spider-Verse 2.
I call it we were just chock full of Spider-Men.
I still like, what's his name? I think it was in Family Guy where he pronounced it Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Phil Spider-Man.
Alan Spider-Man. But I must admit, I haven't seen this. Oh, no, I have seen this trailer. I do apologise. I saw the first one that came out because this one's a redo. But the first movie was good. And again, they've kind of teased this in the second one. But again, it's just kind of...
Yeah, I mentioned, I think we talked about earlier, but I mentioned, it's like, okay, the first one you had five different Spider-Man. You had Gwen, you had the neo-noir, you had the pig Spider-Man.
The pig one.
You had
the noir Spider-Man, and
yeah, down his dumps, Peter Parker, and then you had the anime robot, the girl with the robot spider or whatever, and then you had Miles Morales. So 6 Spider-Men, 7 if you count Peter Parker at the beginning who died. And that was, they were different enough. They kind of had an ensemble thing going on. It was fine, and it made it work. And the lesson they seem to get to that's like, well, if they like 7 Spider-Man, how about 7 million Spider-Man? It's like, oh, no. That's all I can say.
Again,
like, oh, God.
From there, where can you go? If they're going to do a third one, where can you go? You can always dial up stuff in a sequel, but you can never dial it down again. And I mean, this was kind of the problem with Quantumania. Quantumania was kind of the launch of the Phase 5. Sure, they're probably going to dial it up, but you can't dial it down anymore. They're just going to get bigger and better, and that's not the right expression. They're just going to get bigger. With these things.
I remember they did one multiverse. Well, I mean, they did the mirror universe in Star Trek, but they also did one real multiverse episode in Star Trek where it was called Parallels, where Worf kept bouncing through universes because he went through some quantum space BS, and then he was
quantum in front of anything, it explains it.
Yeah, and then when he got too close to Geordi's visor, then he would shift universes because.
Oh, okay.
Sure, why not?
Reasons.
It reminds me, it's like my power ring only works on everything except for wood. What? But okay, so then they had like 8 million enterprises all appear because the barriers between realms were breaking down, and they had to build it all back up, get Worf to his proper universe again. And they showed different versions of what happened in these universes. Like there was a Borg universe where the Enterprise was the only one left, and they just didn't want to go back because the Borg were everywhere. One where Picard died.
I want to go back to ours. We want to go back to the one with the hot naked women on the planet.
They basically were like, he had this huge beard. He's like, I want to go back. And they like fire, boom, blew him up. Mercy killed him right there. But it's like, okay, you can kind of do a one-off like that, and then it's just kind of a cool science fiction story, and that's it. But when you build up your entire Phase 4, you build up the Spider-Verse, where you build up the whole thing around 8 million Spider-Men, then why is Miles Morales special compared to everybody else? There's 8 million Miles Moraleses out there if you really got to take it to its logical conclusion. So it's like, now I don't care. Like when you had 5, it was kind of like, oh, that's a fun little thing. But now I'd like to see Miles Morales just doing some street level stuff. Just doing just have his own villain that he's got to deal with, and just that's it. Just a little nice little.
I mean,
what's wrong with that?
1 or 2 villains, but like that. I mean, again, that was kind of what went wrong with Ant-Man. Both the Ant-Mans were kind of set in this kind of small scale of what happened to him, and then all of a sudden it ended up in this whole other universe where he's fighting this ultra god and everything else, and it's just kind of like, oh, really? I mean, the first 2. I had a vested interest in. The first one was more of a heist movie, and it was just, him against Darren and trying to steal the Yellow Jacket, and it was all nice and compact, and it worked really well. But then they had to sort of like go and make it epic. And like I say, with Spider-Man, don't get me wrong, Spider-Man's great, and we love him. But again, just having him as your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man who's having a fight, like I say, just 1, maybe 2 bad guys, like the original Spider-Mans with Tobey Maguire, brilliant.
One of the best, and I actually have the original 2 issues. One of the best Spider-Man stories I ever read was the Juggernaut was sent to get Madam Web, who is this psychic old lady that's stuck in a life support chair. She could do psychic stuff, but she could never leave her life support chair. But some I don't know. His partner sends him to go get her so they can use her psychic powers, commit crimes. And so she reaches out to Spider-Man, and he's doing his best to stop the Juggernaut, and he just can't. I mean, it's the Juggernaut, right? And that's it. That's the whole 2 issues of him trying to stop the Juggernaut. And then when the Juggernaut gets there and he picks her up, she passes out. He's like, well, she's no good to me. And he's like, oh, you piece of shit. So he gets her to the hospital. And then the second is him trying to stop him. And he finally figures out a way to stop him because he covers his eye holes on his helmet.
Right.
And the guy's just pounding him and walking and pounding him. He doesn't realize where he's walking. He walks into a wet cement foundation of a skyscraper. It sinks down. And it's like, how's he going to get out of there? Because until it hardens.
He's got to get up speed, doesn't he? To run.
He has all this power, but if he's just in sludge, it's not going to really do much, So he's stuck for, and he will get out once it hardens. He will get out. Everybody knows that, but it's like that was a very small, intimate Spider-Man story that is one of the most well remembered great Spider-Man stories. It's not up there with like Kraven's Last Hunt or something, but it's something that people remember.
It's a good one.
It's a very, very good one. And it's like, just do something like that. But no, we got to have 8 million Spider-Man running around. And it's okay, whatever.
And like you say, there's kind of no consequences to it because it's kind of like if Miles does die, it's fine. We've got another quite a few of them, actually.
Yeah.
In fact, if you go down that bar, there's about 40 you can just put your hand on, sort of thing.
The Council of Spider-Mans, And you do have
exactly.
You do have just the little Jewish guy with no powers. Like, hello, I'm Phil Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I'm not sure what I'm doing here, but it's nice to be here.
Yes. Would you like some locks?
Yeah. Okay, so moving on from that, we do have a new superhero. We do have a new superhero coming out in the form of the Blue Beetle. Now, at first, I thought this was an advert for Volkswagen, but it's not. Again, to me, the first main problem with this is it's got to be a young kid. Because we can't have older people doing anything good. Even though 2 of the biggest grossing movies that we've seen in the last 12 months are Top Gun and John Wick 4, which have got two old people as the main stars and have done extremely well. We've got to appeal to the younger kids. And there's nothing about this. I did watch a trailer, and there's nothing about this. I actually thought, no, on streaming, when there's nothing else on, I'll give it a go, but nothing makes me want to go and watch it.
I've been irritated with Jaime Reyes forever. Not because he's a terrible character. He really isn't. But this is like one of the first woke replacements. Although it was back when they were actually putting effort into it. So they actually created a halfway decent character. The Blue Beetle was Ted Kord, and he was kind of he and Booster Gold had this kind of dynamic in the DC universe. They were good friends, and they were I wouldn't call them complete jokes, but they weren't taken as seriously as, say a Superman or a Batman. They were both on the Justice League together back in the 80s when they had that great run where Batman punches out Guy Gardner with one punch. And
Who's Guy Gardner?
He's one of the Green Lanterns. You got it. You got to. I'm really showing my DC geek card here, but
I'm really showing mine. Not.
Yeah, yours is expired long ago. Point is, Ted Kord was part of the Charleston comics that was bought out by DC way back when. That included Peacemaker, included Captain Atom, various others, and that group of characters was actually the template. Slightly modified for Watchmen. So if you look at Night Owl was basically Blue Beetle. Ted Kord. He had a big beetle that he ran around in instead of a giant owl ship. And he was good at gadgets, and he ran his own multinational corporation. And they killed him in 2006, I think, with Identity Crisis. And then in Infinite Crisis in 2008 is when the Scarab that Ted Kord had, but he didn't really do anything with, it attached itself to Jaime Reyes, and he became the new Blue Beetle with this. Okay. It became this whole thing with the Reach and this new thing. It's not terrible, but I just like, why did you have to kill off Ted Kord? Why did he have to go? He's a goofy character, but I kind of liked him because of the goofiness, because everybody else is so self-serious, especially like Batman or something. It's just so self-serious in DC universe.
Not known for his sense of humor, yeah.
No. So, to me, I was like, I really liked that Booster Gold, Ted Kord. They had some fun stories together and fun moments together, and they don't have that anymore. Because he had to go in favor of Jaime Reyes, the Mexican Blue Beetle, who looks like a luchador, which is kind of awful if you think about it. Right. The mask looks like a luchador to me. I don't know if that was purposeful or not, but... And his powers are what? They're like Iron Man with the nanobots or whatever.
Yeah.
And he can make anything he wants, and he's got this whole trailer looked just dull to me. Like seen that 8 million times before in much better movies. Yeah. So that's the Blue Beetle.
I want to see a superhero movie where the guy's got to get changed into the costume. I mean, even like Superman did, like in the revolving doors or something like that. But just sort of like, hang on, I'll be there in a second. Shoes,
yeah.
And as opposed to this CG change.
How great a moment was it when Clark Kent came up to the phone? Because that was a classic, especially in the 70s. Clark Kent changes Superman in a phone booth, right? So he goes to the phone booth. It's one of those little half booths. It's not really a booth. It's just a kiosk. And he looks at it like, God damn it. And he goes to the revolving doors. It's like, how's he going to do this? And they came up with kind of a fun way of him doing it. You go, the revolving door. He changed it. They couldn't see him. He was blurred. Neat. Fun. No, we don't do that anymore. It's just nanobots.
I was going to say, I can see Clark Kent getting arrested and sort of exposure in a telephone booth.
No, you don't understand.
Mummy, that man's got no clothes on.
I gotta save Lois. Sure. Come on, guy. What are you doing? Come on, I gotta go. And then Lois.
Yeah, that's right. So on now with a very strange trailer that came out. Sean's not with us today, but Sean said he wants to see this movie ironically. And I think that's kind of the only way you are going to watch it. I watched the trailer and...
Yeah.
You know, the thing that got me is just previous, about a week or so ago, I watched Drive again with Ryan Gosling in. And sort of what a cool actor he is. I mean, the guy is good looking, he's cool, he's awesome. And then watching him in this, he's just kind of, you know, it's really bizarre.
Well, I guess all the diverse Kens are better than the straight white Ken, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into it. That's possible. But it's like, I didn't need to see them going on for 20 minutes about a beach off. I'm going to beat you off
Yeah.
a beach off.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, is that the humor? But I put in the comments, I was like, this made my soul bleed. I just don't understand what I'm looking at here.
I want to watch it out of morbid fascination of just what possessed somebody to sort of... I can't imagine Ryan Gosling's manager on the phone to him saying, okay, I got a script here. You're going to like this. How can I describe it? You know, just sort of... And then Ryan Gosling sort of going, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, we'll do that. It's bizarre.
I guess I give it credit. It didn't give away enough in the trailer. I have no idea what the hell is going on here. Hey, you guys in the comments, did you watch the Barbie trailer? I mean, what do you... I honestly don't know what to make out of this thing. I don't know what I'm looking at. It's clearly not aimed at me, and I can accept that. But I don't know.
The thing is,
what...
I
don't want to take my daughter...
I don't think... Yeah, I was going to say, the weird thing is, I don't think they're going to want to take to see people's daughters, but I think grown men are going to want to take their daughters to see it, so they just don't look weird if they're sat there by themselves. You know, so...
Yeah.
Oh, you can...
Did
yeah,
you
my
see the
daughter's in the
meme?
toilet. Yeah.
Did you see the meme where it shows, like, who it's aimed at? Shows little girls playing with their... And who's actually... It shows a creepy guy in a movie theater going...
And it shows Sean.
Yeah. But I'm like, why? If you watch that trailer and you see them going on for 20 minutes about beaching each other off, which is clear what the joke is, but then you know, it's like, I'm not going to take my daughter down. I don't want to explain that joke.
Yeah, that's right. Why were you giggling, Daddy? Because then you can't say anything good about it, because then she'll just go and use the expression, you know, and thinking it's completely harmless. My favourite one of that is I remember I remember a kid telling his dad that S&M, I think it meant something like sandwiches and mash or something or other. And so, of course, he invited his friends over, sort of saying, hey, Bill and Joan, do you want to come over for some S&M? You know?
Yeah. That's the problem. You lie about it, and then it gets you.
It gets you.
I'm looking at it like I said, I know it's not aimed for me, but when you see jokes like that, then it's like Velma. It's like, who is this aimed for exactly? And I as kind of a side note, I mean, I'm looking at how well Mario is doing. Now everything I'm hearing is that this is a kid's movie. If you're going into it like a big nostalgia thing because you played Super Mario Brothers on the NES back in 1986 or whatever, this is not for you. This is for kids who have been playing it for the last 10 years or so, and how Mario has grown and expanded and all that. And then it's very, very wholesome, nice kids movie. And then go ahead.
I was just going to say, I've read some people that have gone to see it, and they did say it's kind of fun of member berries in a good way. That, you know,
it
stuff
does
that
have
they get.
some, sure.
Yeah,
but the overall, like, the adults will get the member berries, but the kids will just love what they're seeing.
Yeah,
they're not.
Yeah.
There's nothing. There's no beach off jokes, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then I guess Nintendo came in. During Universal was going to do it as it was the Princess Peach show, and Mario was a big loser who had to be taught everything. And that they said, no, you're not going to do that. Mario, this is Super Mario Brothers, not Super Princess Peach. and you are going to do it correctly, and
Yeah.
and force them to redo this thing. And apparently, the response, well, it's interesting because the response has been, oh, all the critics hate it and all the people love it, and it's going to make $400 million worldwide. It's going to make 175 million dollars domestic. It's already made back its budget, because I think the budget was $100 million. Now, okay, double that for marketing maybe, but even at 200 million, if it's already made 395 million in its first freaking weekend,
Happy days. Yeah.
yeah. And if it's an the Midnight's Edge guy said there was only one woke moment in it, and it was that Princess Peach could get through the training thing immediately, and Mario had a real tough time. And that was it. And he says that's not good, because it just teaches boys that they can't do anything and women can always do things better. And that teaches girls to have really unrealistic expectations. And next thing you know, you see one of those YouTube videos where the girl is coming up on a guy, gives him a sock, and the dude just lays her out. And she's like looking around going, what the hell just happened? I think I need an ambulance. Yeah, I mean, that's a bad message, because real life has a problem with that. You just set yourself up for bad moments. But the rest of the movie isn't like that. The rest of the movie is the way they describe it is great. It's for the kids. It's a kids movie, but it's nice to be able to take your kids to it. What I took away from that is like, how many times have I said, what do our kids have that, like, when we grew up, we can name 15 properties that we loved, or movies that we loved, that we still love today. And it's like, you look at the sludge that comes out in the last 10 years, like, what do the kids have in the last 10 years? It sounds like this Mario Brothers is something that they're going to have, and that's great. I'm happy that that's the way. Barbie?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Somebody's going to be happy. And I imagine it's the people not cleaning up in the cinema afterwards. Okay, so let's move away from that. I think we're going to segue into something different. So we're going to talk about Picard first of all, and then we can go into the Mandalorian and go into the Star Wars stuff. Now, Picard, I've still not watched any of it, but your review, what would you make of the last episode? Was it 6 or 7? 6?
8.
Oh, is that the end then?
No, it's got 2 more episodes.
Oh, okay. But yeah, what did you make of this last episode then, episode 8?
So I tried to articulate this last time. I don't think I did a very good job about it. And Red Letter Media did the last 3 episodes. They had their hour-long thing about it. And I think they articulated what I was trying to say, which is there's the Trek brain and then there's the dramatic brain, right? There's a satisfying story element. And this is what I wrote in my review even before that Red Letter Media came out. There's a lot of dumbness in season 3. I can't get around that. But that doesn't mean, 1, that it's woke, and 2, that there isn't dumbness in the original stuff. There was plenty of dumbness in the original stuff that we love. And
sometimes people don't seem to think that because we love the original, we think they're perfect and everything else. It's like, no, they're not. We know they're not. That's fine. It's fine that they're not, but we just take them kind of, you can accept a few sort of suspensions of disbelief. You're allowed to accept that.
Yeah. And so there's things in here. Some of it I think is budgetary reasons. Some of it is, I mean, there's things that happen in this episode that there's like, okay, the dramatic, satisfying thing and the theme throughout the entire Picard series is reconnection. Picard's connecting with his son. Picard's reconnecting with Beverly. Beverly, has a moment with Deanna. Deanna reconnecting with Riker, fixing their marriage. Riker connecting with, LaForge reconnecting with his daughter. And you have unresolved stuff that you're bringing up. Picard reconnecting with Ro, which I think was greatly done. And then you had Data reconnecting with Lore and kind of putting that thing to bed. Because it was kind of left, it wasn't really left very satisfying in the series, And this, so from a Trek brain point of view, it's like, why the F would you put Lore into this android body? He gives some sort of dumbass explanation. It's like, why would just put Data in there and make Data? That's what you would actually do. But
Yeah.
he puts lore, he puts B4, he puts a little bit of himself, and he puts Data in there, trying to have them all come together and make a better Data. That's the explanation, which isn't the worst. But from a dramatic point of view, from an emotional, thematic point of view, watching Data get the best of lore and them, figuring it out and him coming together and then coming out of this as a reborn Data. And it isn't just like, it's kind of like people had a problem with Spock coming back in Search for Spock. And I don't. I think it's great because you say, well, Spock went out perfectly. Yes, he did. But it wasn't just like, oh, we just picked him up off the planet and put him over on Vulcan and they did the thing and it was done in 5 minutes. No.
Yeah.
Kirk had to sacrifice.
I was going to say the whole movie was kind of based around the whole. Yeah, I mean, literally,
Right.
this for Spock, obviously, is what it's called. But yeah, like you say, it's not just pick him up, everything's fine. There
No,
was
in
obviously
fact-
a lot to go through.
Sacrifice. There was sacrifice.
Yeah.
Kirk had to sacrifice his career, his ship, and his son
Yeah.
to bring back his best friend.
His
And
friends did the same. And yeah.
yeah, and his friends did the same. So it was satisfying. And so Data having to reclaim himself and to go through all that with lore and for them to, have these dramatic moments from a story standpoint makes a lot of sense. From a logical techno brain standpoint, it's stupid. It's dumbness.
Right.
But I don't care. I don't care because the emotional moments for me have outweighed the dumbness. Now, I gave episode 7 a lower score because I think the dumbness outweighed the story moments. When you're seeing Vadic talk about her experience with Section 31, I'm questioning why they're keeping her prisoner, why they're torturing her, why they're using gurneys with wheels, why they're using hypodermic. It's just
Yeah, when we said that, yeah.
it's a balance, right? It's like dumbness and story. Dumbness,
It's
dumbness,
stuff
dumbness.
you can
If
overlook.
it's the other way, okay, I can deal with the dumbness because the story and the compelling parts are working better. So they had a very satisfying ending, and then they all came around the conference table at the end to have the first, the entire big 7 of the TNG crew sits around a conference table to talk about what their next move is and how they're going to strategize and everything. And it's kind of like, and you feel like they earned it and you feel like it worked. You can nitpick some of the dumbness all over the place. Why is Rafi cutting apart changelings with a sword? Because it's a big, dramatic, cool, kick-ass moment. But if you think about it for 5 seconds, it's the dumbest damn thing in the world. And then Worf, he's just murdering people. Everybody's just murdering people. I mean, there's some moral moments I do have questions about that I'm really a little. I'm having trouble getting past a couple of these moral moments. Eggy and I will definitely, and if you want to, we'll all talk about it later. But the point is that the dumbness is not outweighing the story and what they're trying to do. I think just a little story tightening and everything, and some of it can't be helped because of the nature of the episode, and they're not filming it on location out in the city like they were in season 2.
Yeah.
It's all on sets. It's all you don't even see other bridges. Even TNG would have another bridge once in a while, or show you somebody else. They would throw up some wallpaper or something and say, no, it's not the Enterprise bridge. It's the Yamato.
And then the sign will start peeling off, and he's like, "Oh no, just going to stand here."
A different side. Yeah, I mean, they put they could do that. They can't do that here. You got 10 episodes. You just don't have the budget. I get it. That's why I think half of his film's so dark. To cover up any seams. I mean, the ship, the ship that they had the first 2 on, I forget what the name of it is. It's some Hispanic name. But it's gone for some reason. Well, from what I understand, they had to reuse that set to make the other set. So they couldn't keep that set. So now they just kind of they use it once in a while, but you'll never see it again because we're in the last 2 episodes, right? So I could kind of understand all that, but it's like, at what point do you let go of the hatred for the corporations and do you enjoy the show for what it is? And where is your dumbness to enjoyment factor? Where does it
Yeah.
shift from one to the other? I think everybody has a different threshold of pain for that. I can't tell you what your threshold of pain for that is, because the dumbness is there. If that pisses
Yeah.
you off more than the enjoyable character moments, then okay, you're not wrong for what you like.
No, it is like I say, it is weird though, because like I mean, you know, when you think sometimes if you overthink things, and I think this has been the problem with all the Star Wars stuff I've been watching, I've been overthinking it, and because I've been overthinking it, you see what I think are dumbness, and sometimes you can just ignore it, like you say, and just sort of think, oh, that's pretty stupid, but never mind, crack on. But then, like in Obi-Wan, you know, with Princess Leia running away from 4 fully grown men and everything else, your brain just goes, no, that's just too dumb. That's too dumb. That is. You know, and it just completely takes you out of it.
Yeah. So, look, season 3 of Picard, I think, is very, very good. It's good television. From a old Star Trek. I mean, you've heard me talk enough. I think I've got my Star Trek bona fides established. Clearly, there's a lot of things that I notice that I don't like, but there's been things in a lot of the movies that I've noticed I don't like. Star Trek First Contact is the best one. It has some absurd dumbness all the way through it, and it still works because I have a lot of history with the character, and I am with Picard on his emotional journey with that, even though that was probably already thrown out the window from an earlier episode in Next Generation. It's fine because I like it. The other 2 movies, Baku, Shins, I don't care. I don't care at all. I kind of care about Generations because we have that one moment with Picard and Kirk on horseback where he says, don't let him ever replace you. Don't ever retire. That's a nice moment. The rest of the movie is dumb. So it's not outweighed, but at least I care somewhat, a little bit. There's a heartbeat. Boop. But everything else, the Next Generation movies have been terrible because there's nothing but compelling. This season is the Next Generation movie we should have had, and at least there's that. So there you go.
Okie doke. So now moving on to The Mandalorian, episode 6.
Mandalorian.
Oh, whatever.
I wouldn't bother. It doesn't deserve a good spelling.
Hang on. Yeah, tell me about it. So wait, hang on. I'm going to fix this. It's going to be smooth as butter. Mando.
It's like, wait for the other shoe to drop. I'm waiting for it.
I went in with this with low expectations, as I do every week. I didn't want to watch it, to be perfectly honest, but Matt didn't want to watch it. Stark was away, didn't hear from you, so I was like, right, fine, I'll watch it. It started off okay. They're obviously going to go and look for the other Mandalorians. Happy days. This, could now get interesting. The other Mandalorians are off. Oh no, that's right, because it started off with a little love story, and the Mandalorians have been hired to bring back this Mon Calamari who had fallen in love with a squid face. And at first I was like, right, okay, but the Mandos are there, and then the episode when they got to the city, and they met up with what I'm going to say is the fat chick and Jack Black, because I had no idea who the fat chick was. And I was just...
Lizzo.
Right. Well, it was only the end of the episode when her name came up that I kind of went, that explains why it was so bad. Because, I mean, she's a terrible actress. Terrible actress.
If you look up Lizzo in the Urban Dictionary, it means can't act.
Yeah, it was... And like I say, I genuinely had no idea who she was until the end credits. But the whole episode was just, again, filler of quest, go here, and all this lot. My favourite point that somebody brought out, which I didn't bring out in the review that I wrote, is how these... you had that scene with Christopher Lloyd, and it was like, oh, it's Christopher Lloyd! And I was thinking, oh, he's in this episode.
God, they ruined him too.
but they had all these, battle droids, and then they were showing like literally video clips where you could have had a laughter soundtrack over them of the battle droid carrying the shopping, and oh no, he's dropped it all, and it was just like, right, okay, and then they go and find the B2 battle droids, which are the bigger ones. And he kind of kicks one, and then it resets to default settings, which is to run away for its life, and it's like, I'm pretty sure it's a battle droid. I think what they're programmed for is to just kill, not run away, activate the B2 battle droids. Oh, sir, they've all run off, sir. Bit of a, and just, like I say, the whole thing, and then the whole end of it, okay, so, loophole, she can have the sword if she picked it up from the bloke who stole it and then killed the man who stole it, and so she won the battle. And everybody goes, yeah, all right, yeah, no, that'll do. Yeah, she's the new leader. And it was so bad. What did you make of it? Because you haven't said anything about it like all week.
No, I haven't.
Still in shock, or?
A little bit. Okay, so here's the thing. I looked at this. I got a feeling that there is an actual talented writer crying somewhere. Because if you take it from its skeletal structure, okay, Mando and Bo-Katan need to get to the Mandalorians. In order to do that, they have to do a film noir detective story. And at the beginning, you show the Mandalorians that are out there. You do this thing, and the purpose of it. Why do you do this thing with the Quarren and the Mon
Love
Calamari?
story.
Yeah, but what's the purpose of that scene? The purpose of that scene is we got to show that the Mandalorians are out there. They're doing their thing, but they're not evil. They haven't gone evil or anything. They're just a little aimless. So how would you?
They're getting paid,
right? But they don't. They need guidance. They need a purpose. Just going out and getting money is not good enough. Not for one guy, Boba Fett. Yeah, fine. But for this entire group of Mandalorians that have left Bo-Katan, you got to show something that shows that they're a little lost. They're doing their thing. They're not evil, but they probably could be doing better. Okay, that's the purpose of the scene. Fine. What scene did you write? Well, I guess it fulfills that, but it does it in the most cringy, ham-fisted way with this weird it's pulled out of the outrageous Okana from Star Trek. Yes, I'm referencing Star Trek again. That is one of the worst episodes that were ever made. Oh, the stupid Romeo and Juliet bullshit. And I'm like, oh, there's 100 different ways to do this, what you should be showing is them getting in a situation where they have to murder somebody that they didn't want, they were supposed to capture, and they had no choice. And it gives them a crisis of conscience, we have lost our way or something. That would have been compelling, right? That's how you do that. Yeah. Still serves the same purpose. Then I look at this, it's like, okay, let's have Mando and Bo-Katan do a film noir scene. They got to solve the mystery of malfunctioning droids. So what do you do when you show the malfunctioning droids? You show the malfunctioning droids hurting people. You give it some gravity, right? You don't show them, cutting food and then going, whoa, like it's from, what's the one, WALL-E, where it goes berserk, and you shouldn't be laughing at this stuff. And you should have a beleaguered people, they shouldn't be like having no problems whatsoever. They should be like, okay, these droids are getting out of hand. We're beleaguered. People are getting hurt. We don't have the nice way of life that we used to. Show some consequences that it's affecting them, right?
Yeah.
But no,
we got to have shopping.
Yeah, but no, we got to have stunt casting. And we got to have Lizzo. And we got to have Jack Black. And we got to bring poor Christopher Lloyd, because apparently he's got some bills to pay. And we got to make this thing look like SNL. And it's so badly shot. Do you notice, like in that one scene where Lizzo is dressing down Christopher Lloyd in this really horrible, terrible speech, and you see whoever is in the Mando suit, because I'm pretty sure it isn't Pedro Pascal, But you do see Katie Sackhoff, and she is just looking like her soul's dying. She looks like Harrison Ford in the holiday special, just
Yeah.
wondering what the fuck has happened to her career. And
I can imagine. I can imagine, like on set when Lizzo, when they first met. You know, Lizzo's like, "Oh wow, well, it's great to meet you and all this lot." And Katie Sackhoff is just like, "Yeah, it's great to see you too."
I don't know. Like, I can see the beats of what they are trying to accomplish. And what they are trying to accomplish is not necessarily terrible. I do think that if you're going to make a Mandalorian show, then don't make Bo-Katan your main character. But that could even be done if it's done from his perspective. You can do that. It's tough. It takes a writer with some talent, but it could be done. But that's not what's happening here. It's all done hacky and terrible. It's clear that they don't give a crap about the photography or anything. It looks like garbage. And they're doing the most half-assed way of getting to these plot points that you do need to get to. I don't think this reminds me a little bit of the prequels. Like there's a skeletal structure here. I see where they're going. I see what they're trying to do. But it's the execution that is completely terrible. So now I'm looking at it like I'm just mystified. It's like, was this woke? I don't even know. I don't even know what this is.
Yeah, it was like on such a level of bad. I honestly, it was difficult for me to put into words because it was terrible. Now,
I honestly saw. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go on. No, go on.
I was going to say, I honestly saw a talented screenwriter writing out the outline of something that probably could have made sense and been good if you had put the right tone and structure to it, right? And that they took that, and the Suits took it, says, we need Lizzo in it. And it just ballooned out from there. And then it's not a fat joke, but still. It just went, and the guy's like, screw this. Why am I even working on this shit? They take my script and they turn it into this sludge. I honestly, that's what I felt like. Like somebody's like, because I'm like a film noir thing, solving the mystery of droids malfunctioning. That's not a terrible idea. It was the execution that was so ridiculous.
I think somebody else said as well on the comments that it was kind of like had a Scooby-Doo feel when you found out it was Christopher Lloyd. And again, it was literally sort of like, and he would have gotten away with it as well if it wasn't for these meddling Mandalorians. And again, I did think to myself, it was just...
And their dumb Yoda.
Yeah.
Yoda doo-doo-doo.
Stark said that it was a joke, and it was kind of a joke based on Demolition Man. And
I didn't see that at all.
I didn't see it until he said it, and I kind of thought, right, okay, I can see where he's coming from. But at the same time, I thought to myself, but what's the point? A joke in Friends, yeah, I'm quite happy with that. But putting a joke in The Mandalorian like that, what was the point? It was just.
If you're going to do Demolition Man, you got to have some satire. There was no satire here. It was just really awful writing and execution, bad tone. It's like what bothered me so much is like I'm looking at the story, like I said, basic outline story structure. I was like, this could have been. This is not unreasonable, A film noir gets you to the Mandalorians, fine, but you didn't treat it that way. You treated it like a farce.
You can't even. The thing that gets me as well, and I'm going to bring this up, but on social media, particularly on Twitter, people are saying how brilliant the episode was and how Bryce Dallas Howard should direct a Star Wars movie. Could do that with a straight face. And again, it's just like I honestly think people's expectations and standards of entertainment are so low these days that even when they are served up this absolute dog swill, that they actually think it's good. And I can't get it in my head.
I don't believe it. I don't believe when I see all this stuff. It's either marketing departments or paid people or influencers.
No, do you know what? I genuinely. No,
there's
a
few. There's a lot that are. I really think the bots are there's probably a few. I'm sure there's people that love the prequels, but I'm saying that the numbers are minuscule compared to. You can't lie about the Nielsen numbers on Mandalorian. It's like 40% of what used to be. It's that bad, and it's dwindling every week. I mean, they couldn't even get the first episode off the ground. It was so bad as far as ratings. So I don't buy that there's this huge amount of people. I think they're just a noisy amount of people who know how to make bots, and I think marketing departments are doing this. I think they have all kinds of sock puppet accounts out there. I don't buy most of it.
I was going to say, I genuinely see people who genuinely love the whole thing. I nearly got into an argument with somebody on Twitter today because the kid who played Leia in Obi-Wan came out on stage at the Star Wars Celebration with Obi-Wan, with that Ewan McGregor even. Not Obi-Wan, because he's not real. But they came out, and I said something like, I wonder if Ewan McGregor had to sort of play second stage to her like he did in the series. And loads of people came back saying, what are you talking about? He didn't play second fiddle to her. And I was like, you did watch the series, right? you know, and somebody actually took a thing of how much screen time Ewan McGregor had and how much screen time she had, and he had almost double. And I was like, right, that means nothing. What I'm saying is in the script, but there are people who genuinely think Obi-Wan was one of the best series they've done.
It's not a math equation, you idiots. It's not how it works.
I know. It did make me laugh. I would nearly reply to him, but I remembered Mark Twain, who said, never argue with a stupid person because they'll just drag you down to their level and beat you with experience. So,
yeah. I mean, there is a dearth of the ability to think critically, and there is too many people who just suck the corporate dick. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's what they do. They just, anything that has... it reminds me.
This has got Star Wars
Apple
written on it, so it's good. It's got Star Wars written on it, so it's good. It's great.
Yeah. This is why I wear this shirt all the time now. You know, this is the screaming Charlie Brown. Who's just anguish in the darkness. But I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand why people have such a low threshold of, or don't demand more quality.
Yeah,
but this is the whole thing right now, right? I mean, we've got so many weird religious cults out there, for whatever it is. Some are more dangerous than others, but I mean, it's a cult. These people that love this corporate swill. I mean, I honestly believe you're a cultist because you don't know how to think critically anymore. I love Star Wars, you know, and I'm giving things a chance. I'm giving, Picard a chance, and I'm being rewarded for season 3. But that doesn't mean I think season 1 and season 2 isn't garbage swill nonsense.
It's the same with Mando. Don't get me wrong. I mean, people keep saying that this stuff comes out, don't watch it. And it's like, I can't help but watch it. I want to watch it in case it's good. I really want to believe it's going to be good. But just every time they fool me. You know, and like when they're saying about new movies coming out and stuff, I know my mate is going to contact me at some point in time and say, Return of the Jedi's returning to the cinema. Do you want to go and see it? And I'm kind of, I do want to go and see it because we've had a long tradition of doing this, but it's the special edition, and I don't really want to watch the special edition in the cinema. I'd much rather stay at home and watch my original cut of it.
You don't want to see that Yuzum's adenoids as he screams into the camera. You don't want to see that? I don't know why. It's all.
We have got a lot of anger to get through. So let's move on. Indiana Jones 5 has a new trailer.
Speaking of rage, I did you see my comment?
I must admit. Oh no, I was going to say I did watch the trailer and I did think to myself that actually looks better than the first one. I didn't see what your comment was. No, what was it?
It's probably at the top of the best. If you
hang on, let's have a look. I'm just going to click on it. So your comment was. Oh yes, yes, I did that. I'm not going to repeat it because I don't like foul language. But
that's a lot of F-bombs.
But that's capitalism.
I said, that's
60
capitalism. I just lost it. I was like, that was me. That was what I actually was thinking when he said that. So it's like, you stole it from me, I stole it from you. It's like, well, that's capitalism. Like, oh, F off. Read a book. Google something, you morons. You're not exactly giving away the tickets, are you? No, I didn't think so.
To be surprised, do you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if Disney did that, because then they could turn around and say they had the biggest box office smash of all time.
They can't.
But you gave away the tickets. That's what I'm saying. You know, if
they're losing enough money, they can't give away the tickets.
No, it's true. Yeah, they are losing money. But again, Indiana Jones, I want to watch it because I genuinely think, and I'm saying this like in a very roundabout way, but I genuinely think that Doomcock has saved it. That Doomcock has, because he leaked the information and the backlash from it, that Kathleen Kennedy has had to do a 180 on the ending. And so I'm interested in that regard. But other than that, to me, Indiana Jones is the perfect trilogy. Perfect trilogy, which ended in the most perfect way you could possibly imagine. And anything else from that, it's just, 4 was
desperate attempts at relevance.
Yeah, and it just wasn't entertaining, it wasn't fun, it went too far. I always liked the fact that there was always that kind of supernatural element within the Indiana Jones movies, but you always believed it. Opening the Ark of the Covenant, demons could come out and kill everyone. And even with the 700-year-old knight and stuff, you could still believe it. But the whole alien spaceship thing, it was just like, that's too far. It's too far now.
They lost me at Nuke the Fridge. That's where I was done. I was, oh God. I mean, I know that there's a lot of BS in the first 3. If this was real, this would be...
know that. Sorry, I do know that, Matt. But I still say that some of his sources are reliable, and so some of what he said I think is true. And so with Indiana Jones, like I say, it's going to be interesting to see. Ultimately, as long as it's Kathleen Kennedy's last movie, that's all we care about.
For those of you on audio, Matt said Doomcock is full of S, and he's not wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I get Doomcock's one of those guys. It's like, don't stop helping me. Stop being on my side. It's just I get where he's coming from, and again, I think this is where I start departing from a lot of people that are anti-woke or whatever you want to call it. It's we all come by our anger and our criticisms honestly, but where we take it is the important thing. And if we just say everything is shit all the time, no matter what they do, we are no better than the woke, in my opinion.
I'm exactly the same with Doomcock, but I hate the fact that he hates it no matter what. In the same way that some people love Star Wars no matter what, Doomcock hates like Picard no matter what. And if you support Series 3, you're supporting 1 and 2, and you're supporting Kurtzman and all that stuff. And it's kind of, mate, you can change your mind on this. If Season 3 is quite good, it's perfectly all right for you to do a U-turn and say, do you know what, Season 3 was actually quite decent and I was wrong. It's fine to do that. But I mean, if
he really doesn't like it, he doesn't like it. I mean, I can't tell, I can't tell him what he likes or doesn't like, and I can't assume that he's lying about it. But, and there is a part of me, he's not wrong insofar as if I like Season 3, I'm supporting it. I'm supporting Kurtzman because Kurtzman's now coming out with the stupid Starfleet Academy. That's going to be woke as hell. So he's right accidentally, if that makes any sense. He's right for the wrong reasons. Yeah. Like
if you say enough stuff, some of it's got to be right sooner or later. It's like conspiracy theories. If you believe in enough of them, one of them's got to be true.
There certainly is a concern that the corporations will get all the wrong ideas from Picard Season 3, will learn all the wrong lessons from Season 3, and that's how we'll end up with Starfleet Academy, which Kurtzman will take full credit for Season 3 and all that. and I don't know what to do about that, guys. I really don't. I'm like going, okay, I could say to everybody, Terry Metalis is running season 3. Kurtzman's had nothing to do with it. He's doing a good job. Not everything is perfect. I've called out some of the things I don't think are perfect, but overall, it's a very good Star Trek story. What do I do if another guy's going to take credit for that? I don't. Okay, I guess, but I got to tell the truth. I don't know what else to do. So I don't know how to. What do we do? I mean, if anybody's got a solution, great. Do we march on Paramount? I don't know. But I mean, the best I could do is if it sucks, I cancel my Paramount subscription and I'm out.
That's what I mean, though, with Doomcock. Whether he did throw enough stuff out there and enough people listened, and so that Paramount did turn around and sort of say, actually, it was Paramount, isn't it? Sorry, I was just like having a brain fart then. Whether they have turned around and said to Kathleen Kennedy, no, we can't end it like this. We've got to change it because of the backlash we've already had.
Are you talking about Indiana Jones?
Yeah, sorry, we're coming back to Indiana Jones.
Disney.
Originally started on.
Not Paramount, Disney.
Oh, of course it is. No, yeah, sorry. Yeah, but they have the Paramount.
I'm the one who got
logos.
no sleep last night.
It's been a long day. But with it, like I say, they may have actually done a U-turn and actually changed it. And I know Mangold has said we haven't done any reshoots for the ending or anything else, but it's not like directors haven't lied to us before. And I just think, I want to go and see it, and I want to hope it's good. But Mangold is a good director. I can't name a film that he's put a bad step wrong. All of his films are rewatchable. They're great. But I do think to myself, he's up against the might of Disney, and he's up against the might of Kathleen Kennedy, who's been sticking a roar in. So I have no idea what's going to happen.
Well, I mean, once you sign the contract, what do you do, right? Like I'm going to find it interesting when the NDA or whatever runs out on Star Wars for, especially guys like who played Finn.
John Boyega.
John Boyega, and probably Mangold and some of these other guys. Like when it runs out, I would really love to hear how the poor guy that directed
what actually happened.
Rogue One.
Yeah.
Well, J.J. Abrams, I think
Gareth,
Gareth Edwards is going to have a lot to talk about because that. You watch that trailer, and there's like maybe 3 seconds of that trailer that are in the actual goddamn movie.
Yeah.
It got torn to shreds, and I don't know. There was so much rewrites and everything. Phil Lord and Miller and Lord, I think they're going to have some stuff to talk about because of what happened with Solo. So, Ron Howard, he's been a Lucasfilm guy forever. He's not going to betray him. J.J. Abrams, he's a shill from his own company is a shill, so I don't see him betraying anything. But some of these guys, I think there's going to be some stories come out when all the dust settles one day. I'm going to be really interested in seeing those.
It's going to be, like you say, it's going to be interesting. So let's move on to some other Star Wars stuff.
Do we have to?
Ahsoka trailer, yes. Again, watching this trailer, I actually thought to myself, this looks okay. A bit female-centric. I think somebody made in the comments that a few people are going to not like it. And I did keep thinking, there is a lot of women in this, which is fine, depending on how it's done. But I'm under the impression that both Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau have been putting most of their efforts into Ahsoka. So it might actually be quite decent.
Well, I certainly haven't been putting it into Mandalorian season 3. So, did you watch Rebels?
Not yet. It's still kind of on my list of things I'm slowly crawling through.
Okay, you may want to.
It's still too kiddish. It's still too kiddish for me, so I'm finding it hard to get my teeth into.
This show is clearly a Rebels sequel. Those two women characters, the one with the hair.
Oh yeah, Hera.
Hera's and they're both they're both main characters of Rebels. This is all about Thrawn was in Rebels.
Yeah.
And the ending left it kind of ambiguous. And then it did say at the end of Rebels. It was like they went through the war, and after Return of the Jedi, Ahsoka came back to Hera to go find Ezra Bridger. I'm assuming that that's what it's going to be about. But man, I just went, oh no. I was watching this, and it's like they're clearly doing the Thrawn trilogy, Timothy Zahn's trilogy.
See, and this is what now really annoys me, because we're going to go on to that as well. But I have read the Thrawn trilogy and I loved it. And if they had made that into sequel trilogy, they would have had an absolute smash hit on their hands. But they went and
that trailer was so blatant about it. It's like she actually looks into the camera and it's like, we need to find Thrawn. He's coming back because he's going to be heir to the Empire. I'm like, oh no!
With it, but the problem is somebody made a comment on social media somewhere. They said that if he's now the heir to the Empire, what about the whole Snoke and then Palpatine returning thing? That kind of blows that out of the water. You know, that it's kind of like everybody's near to the Empire, because technically Rey is, because she's, her granddad was running it at one point.
No. I don't care about that. This is thing you know. Heir to the Empire is thing you know and thing you love. So we're going to wear it like a skin suit. I'm sorry. I like Dave Filoni. I think he's done a good job. He may do a good job with this story. Him and Favreau may do a good job with this story. They have it all set up and everything. But if they're doing the Zahn trilogy, which it looks like they are, I'm feeling like that old Jedi with the red. I feel like that's Joris C'baoth. I don't know how they pronounce it.
Yeah.
And if they're doing clone, it's like, oh no, you can't just. You got to do it without Luke, Leia, and Han again.
And also the fact that somebody, because we're going to go on to this in a minute about Rey and coming back, but somebody said about how the whole somehow Palpatine returned, and somebody said, well, they did that in the EU, and I said, yeah, but in the EU they made it. There was a valid explanation of what happened. His spirit had sort of died on where the Death Star was, and a Jedi went out and it inhabited his body and then took possession, and it's kind of that explains what happens, as opposed to just saying somehow, and so when it's well written and stuff, and then like you say, if they're now going to try and do that Thrawn trilogy, but you don't have like Janice and Jason, which were Han and Luke's twin kids, and then also
Jaina,
sorry, but then
Anakin.
Ben. Yes, right.
They named the third one was Anakin. Yeah, they didn't name him Ben because they were like, why would they name him Ben?
Yeah, that's true. That creepy old dude who used to hang around with Luke all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, with Anakin, he gets possessed by the Emperor in that Thrawn trilogy, and it works really well. But now you haven't got any of these characters because they've decided to just
not the Thrawn trilogy. I think that happened later in some EU, but the actual Thrawn trilogy is very well put together, very well done. I consider
that did happen in the Thrawn trilogy.
No, not maybe in the sequel to the Thrawn trilogy, but no. Jaina and Jason were born in the Thrawn trilogy, and Anakin wasn't born yet.
Oh, okay, sorry. It's been a while since I read them, so.
Yeah, but you have all those that whole thing with those creatures that were serving. Yeah, that Rook was his personal bodyguard. Turns out they were lying to him the whole time and all that. Figured out how to, Leia had this whole thing going on. She had the thing with the Bothans, the Bothan ambassador. Yeah. There was a lot of good stuff, and it was very, very well put together. It expanded. It made the stories more complex, but it still was a good trilogy that all worked. Mara Jade was a great addition.
Yes.
Talon Card was a great addition, and there was a lot of good stuff in there. And
ultimately, I was going to say, sorry to interrupt, but ultimately, what's now happened is we're gonna move on here to Rey Palpatine is back. I'm never going to call her Skywalker, because just because she identifies as a Skywalker, it doesn't make her one. But because they've killed Luke off. Now none of the canon can happen. I know there's a couple of good computer games like Jedi Academy and stuff where Luke is training up the Jedi and everything else, but obviously Rian Johnson, to subvert expectations, had to turn Luke into this complete and utter wuss who gave up on everything because he thought Ben was going to go bad, and now they've killed him off.
This fucker's having a dream.
Kill him quick!
Your own
And
father
then he doesn't, and
murdered billions. Oh, he's redeemable. He's redeemable. This kid's having a dream.
And but with it, what really struck me about this is there was a video on our channel. You can have a look at it. It's one of the shorts where Mark Hamill is saying that the Force Awakens is there's an orphan on a desert planet who comes across a robot who's got secret plans to a giant, Death Star, and he and that basically is it's A New Hope, but with a girl. And now, because they've taken Luke out of the picture, it's now going to be Sarah Jane. I was going to call her Mary Sue. But it's now Ray who's going to be setting up the new Jedi, and she's the new Luke, and she's replaced Luke. And again, it's just Disney's MO of we can't have strong male characters. But the problem is when they killed Luke, they killed off literally their entire fan base of young guys who grew up wanting to be Luke Skywalker. And so they alienated all of these people in one foul stroke. And it was just bringing her back. It's.
Don't you find it weird? You have this property with these three characters who are pretty much the reason why this property exists. And Luke, Leia, and Han have by far the least amount of screen time than anybody else. I mean, even Star Trek knew enough to bring back Picard and Tuvok and the gang.
But again, it's and I'm gonna carry on saying this. And I don't care how woke I sound, but it's Disney's MO of replacing the male characters with a female to try and appeal to that female audience. But the problem is you've got a female audience already who are quite happy to look to people like Leia and Mara Jade and all these other great females within the confines of the films and the EU and stuff. But they forced Rey into this, and she was terrible. There are again people on social media saying, "Oh, she's easily one of the greatest Star Wars characters." And it's like she's had zero character development. Nothing happened to her. She was an orphan, and then she was the best pilot who understood the Falcon better than Han. And she could take on a Sith Lord, and it's just she is awful. And yet, I don't know. Like I say, I still think some people actually, again, because it's got Star Wars written on it, they just think, yeah, it's great, it's brilliant. Everything's Star Wars.
That's the female insecure perspective, right? You're just great the way you are. Yes, queen, and all that. It's like, no, you're great because you overcame obstacles.
You had problems.
That's what people
you overcame them, and you fight them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why people love these stories. Yeah.
Oppression
you didn't have to overcome shit.
Yeah. There was a lad on Wednesday, and I said on social media, I don't want to watch Mandalorian, but I'm gonna try and avoid it. And he said, "Oh, it sucks for you then." He said, "Oh, it sucks for you then because it's going to be epic." And I thought, right, you're one of those people that even before you've seen it, you've already decided in your head it's brilliant, and it's just like brilliant. What is the point of watching it? What is the point of going through the whole process of watching it when you've already decided it's good, as opposed to going in with an open mind? And just, like I say, bringing Daisy back. I know everybody was like on their feet and going, "Oh wow, great, it's Daisy," and I'm just thinking, "Oh, this they have killed off the fan base."
There used to be in colleges anyway, before they went all insane. There used to be, classes you could take on appreciation of stories and fiction and things like that. And there were reasons that a story would resonate and become great and go throughout the decades. Because there are certain tropes, there are certain things that are, and I'm not the best at this, but there are literary guidelines that make stories compelling. And none of this is in a character like Rey, but they don't understand this. They don't understand. They don't understand what they don't understand. They don't know what they don't know, right? Because they never take. If they've taken any classes in college, it's all about gender studies or propaganda nonsense, right?
How everybody's equal and when everybody's perfect and everybody's wonderful the way they are.
Yeah. And so you take away the thing that drives people. If you tell everybody that they're perfect the way they are, one, they don't know how to handle adversity, and two, they have no drive to overcome adversity because they don't understand why things aren't perfect. And it's like you are taking away a fundamental part of their humanity by telling them this nonsense. And then they I mean, it's not just that. I feel sorry for them to a certain extent because they lap up this stuff and it's empty. And they may be able to deal with it in their 20s. The longer they go, the more the emptiness is going to grow inside them. And they don't even know why.
Yeah. It's, I mean, when you think, if they were to update Lord of the Rings and make Frodo and Sam girls, it would just be a case of literally walking to Mordor and going, well, that's done.
No, it wouldn't be that. It would be, this really goes with my outfit.
But with it, again,
I can handle it just fine because I'm awesome. And she would be able to handle it just fine. And even Gollum would go, you can keep it.
Yeah. Oh, girl, it looks so much better on you. And,
yeah. I've been wrong this whole time, precious.
The whole point of Lord of the Rings is about this one sort of single character of Frodo, and obviously he builds up his friends and everything else who help him along. But it is the struggle that they have to get to and fighting through adversity. So when he finally does win, you are yay, and it's great. Whereas, like I say, with Rey, she had none of that. It was just everything was handed to her because she was perfect. So you just sort of.
Yeah, Frodo is compelling because of his suffering. I mean, you can go to Jesus for that on Easter. I mean, why is Christians all around the world still, whether you believe it or not, the story of Jesus is compelling. He gets on a cross, dies for our sins. Okay, I mean, it's compelling, right? It's suffering, and he gets. Yeah, kids today don't understand what good characterization is. This is exactly it.
No. They don't. Like I say, there's no struggle that most of these characters go through, and because of that, like I say, that's how they think life is. That there's just no struggles, and it's like, yes, it's good to have struggles. It's good to be told no. It's good to, break an arm or whatever. You learn lessons from this, but like I say, this is what they're trying to protect everybody now from having hurt feelings, and it's like hurt feelings makes you a better person. It shapes your personality. It's not a bad thing.
I can't believe we're getting to Star Trek V territory here. I don't want to lose my pain. I need my pain.
Let's
he's
move
right.
On, Andor season 2. Now, I was very critical of Andor, and I still say I don't like it. However, I do want to go back and revisit it and give it a bit more of a chance. In Andor season 2, they have said that they're going to be doing about 12 episodes again. It's going to be kind of like a trilogy within the series, which prepares me a little better for it. So I'm open to the idea of it, but I'm not expecting much because, like I say, I didn't rate Andor.
I guess I appreciate Andor more than I like it, if that makes sense.
It was good. It just wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah, I think I liked it more than you do. I appreciate what they were trying to do. I appreciate that they made the Empire a force to be reckoned with, a danger and a threat. I appreciate that there was a lot more adult storytelling in there, and there wasn't any real wokeness or anything like that. So I appreciate all that. As far as connecting, the problem is that Diego Luna, it's the same problem with Rogue One. It's just a plank of wood, and I'm having trouble connecting with the guy. And
I'm not invested in him. Yeah.
Yeah, I was more invested in Stellan Skarsgård, and that's it's hard. Some of it just kind of gets a little too bogged down in some minutia that probably could be moved away. but it's still it's like it feels like a ground rule double in baseball. You know, it's like you swung for the fences. Not bad. Could yes. It's look. I'll take Andor over Mando season 3 any damn day of the week.
This is true. If I had to watch one of them back again, I would give Andor another chance. Now that I know what to expect and so forth, I would definitely give it another chance. I think the first time it just I didn't know what to expect. And when you think of how serious Andor was and how grown up it was, and then you compare it to like this last episode of Mando, where it's like, I respect your feelings and blah, blah, blah. And
Lizzo's throwing bugs through a hoop. I'm like, oh, God.
And just, you know, it is chalk and cheese. And so with Andor, like I say, maybe they're going to do more with Diego Luna than this one and actually give him a personality, which might be nice.
Yeah, that would help. I mean, his big move is just murdering you mid-sentence.
Yeah, very much, yeah. And another thing, yeah.
Yeah.
You're not Greedo here. So there's that. Let's move on. Well, to be fair, that's all we've got to say about that. Now, the Acolyte. Again, it's one of those things where I can't get excited about it because I've seen the cast of these young people.
What did they say about it? What did they say they're going to do? Is I've got two stories here. Which one is it in?
Hang on. Site's being slow. Right, I think it's in the first lot, even more Star Wars. So I'll read what it says.
Okay.
Ray Palpatine is back. Good old man. The Acolyte. Creator, showrunner, executive producer, and director Leslie Headland has said the series was originally pitched as Frozen meets Kill Bill, which is not a good thing to say. Do you want to stroke a Wookiee? It was also confirmed that Jonas Sumato, Chewbacca in the first in the latest films, will feature as a Wookiee Jedi alongside Squid Game's Lee Jung-jae as a Jedi Master. Headland went on to say about George Lucas's inspiration from the old samurai movies and how this is part of the guiding principles. See, that actually does sound interesting. They confirmed that 4 episodes have been completed so far, and Headland spoke about the plot. Quoting, It's about the bad guys as we set, and it's set between the High Republic and the prequel era with plenty of Jedi. This is where the bad guys are outnumbered and the underdogs. So, I mean, that actually sounds all right. Because, I mean, have you ever seen Hidden Fortress? Akira Kurosawa's Hidden Fortress? I
haven't. I'm familiar with it because of, its place in history, but I haven't sat and watched it yet.
It is basically Star Wars. The story is told from 2 servants who run into a farm boy who helps a princess escape from a Dark Lord. It's a brilliant movie.
Rip off from the best.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, if they did go with this old school samurai stuff of actually sort of, flinging around laser swords and everything else, then I would be quite happy with that. But it's just, again, it's
Frozen meets Kill Bill. I just hear the song. Let it go. So stop, please, stop. My eyes are bleeding.
Because
just shooting
fun. Somebody said in the comments, just to read the comments, Frozen meets Kill Bill. So the heroine doesn't have any have to train brutally for several years to overcome any obstacles except for her own self-limiting behaviour. And again, it's kind of, that's what Frozen was about. That when you don't get me wrong, Frozen is a fairly good piece of entertainment. The songs are good and stuff, but I mean, again, it's just about a woman who just is great at being a woman. And so again, if that's what the Acolyte's going to be like,
I'm confused by them. So I don't know if that Leslie Headland is the one I was talking about last week. And for those of you who didn't hear last week, basically the showrunner was going to do the Acolyte. She got let go. She was given a $5,000 check. Now she's suing Lucasfilm. They didn't have the money to give her. I thought the Acolyte was on the back burner, but now it's being announced. Now we could probably... if we had a nickel for every Star Wars project that was announced that never got anywhere, we'd be rich. But there's I find it odd, and I feel like this whole Star Wars celebration is a lot of throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks more than it is actual stuff that's coming out. I wouldn't be surprised if any and all of this gets canceled.
Have you seen The American Office? Have you seen like all of the episodes?
Yeah.
One particular episode that came to mind where Michael is telling Dwight and teaching him how to talk, and he's sort of saying, just go out there and say whatever you like because nobody's listening. And it's just, this is what celebration is like. It's just go out there and say a load of stuff and put up a load of photos and bring out Daisy Ridley, and everybody will just, hey, and they literally could be saying, oh, we're now going to, kill off all the main characters, and we're also going to do so-and-so. And everybody's just like going, yay, but look, it's Ewan McGregor, and...
Yeah, I mean, they're bringing out people and trotting them out, and I see Carl Weathers out there. I see Katie Sackhoff and a couple of others, and they're doing all their contractually obligated responsibilities for this, I'm sure. I noticed that Mark Hamill and the rest of them are like, I'm out. Sequels are done. I'm out. So I don't know. But it's
funny because somebody said with Daisy Ridley walking out, the crowd went wild. When Kathleen Kennedy came out, there's a great video, and she comes out. There were a few people cheering, but it cuts to the crowd, and there's literally one guy going, just like talking, because it's just like Kathleen Kennedy. But they said if you brought Mark Hamill out, the place would have just erupted, because people still love Mark. They still love Luke, but yet he's been killed off now because
I love Luke.
No man.
Mark Hamill is a lunatic, but I don't know. I'm just kind of confused by this acolyte thing. I'm going to put my flag in the ground right here. I'm going to say the acolyte is not going to get made. I'm going to say it's bullshit. So you could mark this date.
Like I say, you can't. Like I say, that the amount of times they've announced stuff. Like I say with Ryan Johnson, I bet he still sat. Oh, excuse me, still sat by the phone, sort of like, oh, hello? Oh, is that Kathleen? No, I don't want to make money on savings on long-distance calls. No. Okay, thanks. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
And just with him. What's that? Bunny, rabbit, thumbs up, Spock. Oh, Easter. Happy Easter for Star Trek fans. Oh, I like that, Sally. Well done, thank you. That's quite clever.
Glad you figured out those hieroglyphics. I needed a Rosetta Stone.
I'm obviously on the same mental wavelength, so I'm sorry about that, Skelly. The other one was Skeleton Crew. Again, it's just kind of at this point. I genuinely haven't looked up much about it because to me it's just more content. Let me find if I've got it on here. Yeah, this was the problem with Skeleton Crew. I might have got these a bit confused. Kennedy compared this to the classic Amblin Tales, saying about kids, but not necessarily a kids show. Filming is finished and the show is in post-production. The story was apparently Spider-Man Helmer John Watt's idea that he pitched to Jon Favreau while they were working together on Spider-Man. Jude Law plays a Jedi hiding out, and he joined the cast and crew on stage. Oh, okay, so right, Jude Law came out. I was 6 years old when the galaxy first gripped me. Hang on, reading is terrible. I was 6 years old when this galaxy gripped me for the first time. I have been preparing ever since. This is a dream come true. But that's kind of what they said about it. More in-room only footage was shown, featuring space pirates and X-Wings. Skeleton Crew is at the end of the year. But again, it's just kind of... it's more content. It's just another... Here's someone else for you to watch, because we didn't have a schedule fill at the end of the year. So this is something a filler.
I gotta say, I mean, this
again,
has...
it might be good, because I want to watch it, just whether it's going to be good.
Yeah, I mean, I look at this and I go, I just have zero interest. It doesn't even register with me. Setlick says The Acolyte, 4 episodes of The Acolyte are in the can. Okay, well, we'll see. It's happening, huh?
Okay. So far. Go on.
I
There we
hope
go.
I hope that
So back to
former
Skeleton Crew.
showrunner sues him into oblivion. I really do.
And then
Blue
the last
Beetle.
thing that we, oh, go on.
I want to read a couple of discuss stuff. Talking about Star Wars on Easter Sunday. Yep. I thought Disney threw
Why
out
now?
the Disney
It's
Star
live.
Wars, yeah, EU stuff, but they're now going to defile Heir to the Empire. Make up your minds, assholes. Yeah, I agree. Blue Beetle director hates white people and tweeted he hopes Trump gets assassinated. He'll be directing Star Wars and MCU shit before you can say Ted Cord.
I have seen his comments on Twitter and stuff, and it is kind of seriously, just shut up. What is wrong?
Batman
with
is a
you? You know?
fascist. Okay, I'm done.
And then the last one, then moving on. The last one is, we got another comment. The Get High Republic is Kathleen Kennedy's crowning achievement. She will leave after that. We can all hope and pray that's true. Again, the comments on social media have been quite funny because it's kind of like Kathleen Kennedy came out at Star Wars Celebration, and all the comments were, to announce her retirement? Is she going to retire? I hope somebody says she's going to retire. Just like everybody wants to get rid of her. Matt, who's not here today, but his son has been to the Star Wars convention. He had he caught a photo of Jon Favreau walking through the thing, which is quite blurry, but you can see it was John. But he also said his son's got a signed badge of Kathleen Kennedy. And it was like, I said, and I don't advocate this, so please don't do this on my say-so, but I said, he didn't punch her in the throat then? He said no. And I said, if I'd have been at that convention, I'd have gone up to Kathleen Kennedy with my badge and my pen and just sort of looked at her and gone, and walked off.
Nope.
'Cause it was just like, yeah, I don't want anything to do with you. You're a horrible, horrible woman. I probably would have been kicked out.
If I could guess, like, why do you hate me? I'd really like to
Yeah.
know. Why do you hate me
What
so
have I
much?
done
What
to
did
you?
what did I do to you? You seem to have a good career based on my ticket sales. Why are you so pissed at me? What did I do?
Yeah, you've
There's
lived
probably
quite a good life.
And just film the whole thing and then just let it go viral.
But the other news was James Mangold apparently is looking at doing a Star Wars. Now, obviously, he's been working with Kathleen Kennedy for the last few months, year or so, doing Indiana Jones 5, which makes me wonder that Kathleen Kennedy, by the sounds of things, if rumours are be to believed, that Kathleen Kennedy wanted to ruin Indiana Jones and make it woke. But it sounds like James Mangold didn't want that to happen. If they were at loggerheads, would they want to work together again? Does that mean that James Mangold has signed up for some Star Wars movies, but with the knowledge that Kathleen Kennedy won't be there? It's
I don't
interesting.
know. I am hearing too much about how Kathleen's out of the way, Jon Favreau's taken over, James Filoni is taken over. No, she's not going. She's going. She's going. Man, you know what? It's all bullshit until something actually happens at this point. I mean, what else can we say? It doesn't. There's no real. Nobody's going to be held accountable. Disney is already gotten rid of people that are anti-woke. So Kathleen's one of them. I'm kind of like, she's there as long as she wants to be at this point. I know I said last week that if Indiana Jones doesn't make X amount of money, that she may be on the chopping block, but the more I hear, the more I listen to it, the more, I see her getting trotted out in this Star Wars Celebration pretty prominently. I just like going, she's not going anywhere until she either wants to or dies, and that's just like.
Because it seems in Hollywood, you will constantly fail up. No matter how much of a failure you make something, you fail up, and you just carry on working and get promoted for some strange reason, unlike any other business in the entire world.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing, like I said, I see a blip here for Picard, for Star Trek in general. I like it. That's great. I see no blips for anything on the Disney side anymore. I don't see anything that's coming out that I go, that looks actually very good. Or even if it kind of does, I have no faith that it actually will be. Like you said, Secret Invasion, right? I don't buy it. I don't believe that it's going to be any good. I just don't. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier had some pretty good trailers, and it looked more serious, like that kind of thing. And look what a shit show that turned out to be. So I have no faith in Disney to do anything properly anymore. And what a shame. I mean, a great American company that made family entertainment for generations is just completely crap the bed, and I don't
Do
understand.
you know what? I have said that so many times that Walt Disney, when in 1935, 36, people said you could make a full-length feature film, he said, yes, I can. And he put his house on the line, he put his whole reputation on the line, and he did it. And he was a creative genius. I know he had his faults and stuff, but the guy was a creative genius. And so to be able to do all that and everything was, to what the company has become now, it's just, I can't get my head around it. That, he was all about creativity and intellectual expression and all this kind of stuff, and now the company is just about making money and pandering to the loudest screamers and so forth.
I'm not even sure it's about making money, because they're losing money hand over fist. Lightyear died a horrible death. The Strange World died a horrible death. The Quantum Mania way underperformed. I mean, they are making movies for each other at this point, so they can show how awesome and virtuous they are at their damn parties.
Woke points are valuable in Hollywood. They're worthless everywhere else. Yeah, it's true.
And I'm like going, okay, but this has got to. You cannot spend woke points, like you said. You got to have millions of dollars, and sooner or later, investors are going to pull out of. They're just going to sell their shares, and nobody's going to want to buy them, and then the stock's going to tank. And where are they going to be? That's going to happen at some point, and they can't coast on Star Wars and MCU forever. And if they don't course correct, and I don't really have any faith in Bob Iger to course correct anything, I guess that's the end of Disney. I don't know what else to say. I mean, that which cannot continue will not continue.
With it, though, I wouldn't say it was the end of Disney, but again, coming back to Doomcock and rumours. But I mean, he said that maybe Disney are looking at selling Lucasfilm, which would give them a boost of money, and it might then give somebody else a chance who respects the property a bit more to actually give us what the fans want. And try and get rid of that stain of the prequels.
Are you talking about somebody else buying Disney, or?
Well, I didn't see the video, I must admit, but the video implied that Disney might be looking to sell Lucasfilm.
Well, honestly, they need to sell Disney. Somebody needs. We need an Elon Musk to take over Disney, but it's too expensive. I don't know who could buy it. Well, he's got plenty.
According to the Guinness Book of World Records.
Yeah, but I don't think he has that much. And the other people that do have that much, they're not going to be any better. Yeah. They're not going to be any better. So then I go, okay, well, who could buy? You may be able to get a venture group, like a investment group together of like-minded people who want to, maybe you could do a hostile takeover that way, but Disney's got to get devalued quite a bit before that happens. And the theme price
to come down.
They're out of they're terribly expensive. Well,
how much was that Star Wars hotel? That Star Wars hotel, just to say, was
like $5,000
for a family for a weekend or something crazy. I mean, again,
it was like per person. It was ridiculous.
Right? No, not Amazon, because we've just seen what they've done to Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, so, I don't. Amazon is a little more mercenary about their stuff. They will do woke stuff, but they will also do stuff like Reacher or Bosch.
Yeah, this is true.
There is good stuff out there, but Jeff Bezos, I don't see that. We're not. We're talking about people like that actually would crusade to bring back something that is good for the country. That is, because our culture is something that we export. right? I mean, let's face it, we don't export cars and shit anymore, but we do export culture. Like it or dislike it, America exports the vast majority of culture across the world. And that is not something, I mean, it's harder to put a value on it, like you put a value on gold or a car or something tangible. But this, getting this culture exported is something that we need people who understand that the culture needs to be something more than just a money-making possibility. Now, I hesitate saying that because then you got people who are saying, well, yeah, that's what we're trying to do, put out all our moral values. Yeah, but your moral values are about giving sex change and castrations to children. So, I mean, you guys are lunatics. We need somebody who's got like somebody who free speech and all that kind of stuff.
The problem is there are people out there who have the creativity, and it's like you say, yes, they've got to make money at the end of the day. I completely understand that. Hollywood and movies always been about ultimately making money. Yes, you create pieces of art now and then, but you've got to make the money to make the films. But it's having somebody who can, I forgot what I'm talking for so long, I forgot what I was going to say now. You've got to have people who have got that creativity to be able to do that, and that just seems to be the problem, that this younger generation have been brought up on TikTok and stuff like that. This kind of mindless dribble that we see on TikTok, and these are the people that are going to be our creatives for the next few years, unfortunately.
Well, it is a complex tapestry, isn't it? Because I talk about what are we educating our kids now? Well, we're certainly not educating them in the greats of literacy, the understanding of why great literature is great literature, why great film is great film.
They're trying to change they're trying to change books and ban books and stuff, aren't they? Instead of teaching them that.
They don't have a good understanding of how these things work or why they work. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't some kids out there that, I mean, like me, I really learned a lot of this stuff or really started studying this stuff well after school. So, I mean, it is possible, but we certainly are. See, now they have to get rid of all the sludge that was thrown into their brain first before they can open up their mind to understanding why these stories are great stories, why these films are great films, and so on and so forth. What makes good characterization, all that kind of stuff. So you need to do that. Then you get people educated enough, you're going to pull out some talent out of there that actually takes those lessons and understands how to write new stories from them. If you don't have those people getting educated on that stuff, then you don't have great talent. What did I say? That they're all, the only thing they know is therapy sessions. That's it. That's all they know. And what as therapists, I'll tell them, you're great as the way you are. What are our doctors doing? They're chopping off kids' genitals so they can feel better about themselves or something. It's all swirling around this, the culture and the education, the academics, and the intelligence. It's all swirling around this down the toilet bowl. And until somebody breaks out of that, until some of these institutions break out of that, or we build new institutions, we're going to have a rough time for entertainment for a long time.
I mean, there are creative people out there who are still making films and stuff, but it's just few and far between. You kind of got to get through the swill to find that pearl, and so it does happen. There are still good stuff out there, but like you say, the creativity at the moment, it's horrible to see. That these like I still say that there are people out there, like I say, cultists or whatever you want to call them, that are watching these new Star Wars and think it's the greatest thing ever because they're just so creatively bankrupt in their own entertainment that they just don't know what entertainment is. One that's, I don't know if you guys get over that, there's a TV show over here called Gogglebox, and it's just people watching TV and reacting to it. This is what's entertainment now. The reaction video and stuff. And again, the reaction video to Indiana Jones and stuff, it's not about the creativity that's gone into Indiana Jones. It's just somebody they're going, oh my gosh, and all this line. It's like, this is what entertainment is now. It's awful.
Yeah, I remember when that first Force Awakens trailer came out, and there was the novelty of seeing reaction videos to people reacting to it. This is before I knew what would happen to Star Wars, and I had optimism and hope, and I still had a soul. But that wore off very quickly. It's like, oh, that was cool seeing people react to this thing that's coming back after 40 years or whatever. Great. Now it's just like, give me the clicks. Give me the clicks.
It's
Everything's
almost
so
as if people.
corporatized.
It's almost as if people will only make videos and live streams and stuff about Star Wars just to get the likes and clicks because of the celebration and so on.
So anyway, talking about the philosophy of Plato, chapter 1. This will take a while.
Plato, no, that's the plastic stuff that you can mold into shapes, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, no, sorry, that's Play-Doh. Sorry. I was way off. Okie doke.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to continue to be, because I really don't know what else to do other than try to. Some of this is my therapy session of trying to think of how do we get ourselves out of this? How do we get our kids out of this?
That's a really good point, because my favourite one about that is actors no longer act, they just represent the audience. My favourite one about that was how some people said it was shameful for Brendan Fraser to put on a fat suit and play a fat man in The Whale, because it should have been played by an overweight actor. And it's like, you do know that the story is about a man who is so unbelievably unfit that he's going to die. You do know that, right? And that's who you want to actually play the role.
Yeah. And after he got done with shooting, he killed himself.
It's crazy.
Apparently, it really got to him.
If you are watching this, if you are watching this later, there's no need to tell us what miserable old sods we are. We know.
Yes.
Just sorry, some of the comments have been coming up, so.
Where are you seeing that? Is that on the?
Oh no, just in general, people are like I say, are just sort of like, oh yeah, miserable old men worrying about movies and all this. It's like, yeah, because if we don't, nobody will. Because obviously the new generation will just swallow down anything that's given to them, and it's all perfect and brilliant.
Yeah, I guess I'm weird. I would like to see our younger generation not be satisfied with corporate swill. Have higher standards than that.
Just going to say, have you been responding to any of the comments that have been coming through on YouTube?
I've responded to some of them. The last video that we did on Kathleen Kennedy blew up so much. I got so many comments. Like I can't. Yeah. I just don't have the time.
According to the website, we've got 294 notifications. So good luck with that.
There was some. I think Setlick was actually. It might have been you. Maybe not. But I think somebody was. They were having a conversation within the comments.
I see.
Which I thought that was fun. So I just stood back and, hey, you guys got your thing going. But yeah, I answered a few of them, and most of them were kind of like, yeah, we agree, that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's just I guess just depressing. Like
that's
I said.
A good comment. If you don't want us to be miserable at movies, start making better movies. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
That's what we're trying to say.
And then just final comment there from Sam Setlick. Luckily, I was typecast as the bad guy. I'm a white male. Could probably land a well if you're still acting. There's going to come a time when you won't be able to, Matt. So get in there quick. Setlick. Right. Okay. Would you like to wrap up for us, please, Yoda?
Certainly. This was we went through a lot this time, didn't we? I was kind of surprised. So I got a lot to.
This is only part one. We're going to have a little break and come back for another 6 hours.
You enjoy that. I'm going to bed. So thank you very much. Remember, visit us at lastmovieoutpost.com with all the latest in movie news, streaming news, and everything cool about film. We are the cool news now. You can reach us on Twitter at @movieoutpost. He is at Boba Phil. I'm at Drunken Yoda 1, and at Mad Eggy Wags, if he ever shows up again, will be also here. Also Facebook.
That'd be so good if my hand actually came in there. Ow! Sorry, go on. Yes. Yeah, we should have Matt and Sean back with us soon.
Cool. So, yep, it's been fun. We still got it done in 2 hours, so that's awesome. So thank you, Phil. You got anything to wrap up with?
Oh, been a nice quiet week. I'm now relaxing and chilling. And apart from that, like I say, no, just keep up to date with us on the website.
Yes, and please remember, I would love it if you guys like this to share, like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Many of you probably already are, but let's get the word out there. We really do want to become more of an independent voice in entertainment, news, and media, and not just our YouTube channel, but we also have the website where we do news every day, and I think we do a pretty good job of keeping up with all that. So be out there. Thank you very much, Setlick. I do appreciate you. Your kind comments, and we will continue to do the best we can. So thank you all very much for watching, and we will see you on the next stream.